Happy Tuesday and welcome to this week's Art Chats. If you're new here, my name is Emily Gillespie and I do these weekly art chats just to be able to connect with you guys, to encourage, to support, and to start a dialogue and discussion about things like identifying your artist voice, overcoming self-doubt, that kind of thing. So I've been doing this for almost a year and a half now, I guess. Welcome. This week, I wanted to talk to you about getting started, getting yourself started when you are stuck creatively. So let's take a second and just think here. I want you to imagine that you're sitting in your studio. You have a blank canvas in front of you, and all your tools, all your supplies, everything's ready and in reach, and you can do anything you want. But you have to make a choice and figure out where you want to start. Or maybe you're sitting in front of your computer with a blank word processing document. You're not sure what you want to write about. Are you going to write a novel? Are you going to write a blog post? Are you going to write a news piece about some kind of current events? You could do any of those things. But you can't decide. And the cursor is just blinking on the screen, blinking on and off like it's taunting you. Or maybe you're developing a new branch of your business and you're trying to figure out how you want to structure it or what exactly it is that you even want to do. But there's so many different possibilities that you're having a hard time narrowing it down. The same scenario can apply to any kind of creative discipline, whether you are a chef or baker, a writer, you're a landscape architect, you're a painter, or a potter, a sculptor, quilting, design, anything. Whatever it is that you do in your creative life, I'm sure that you've been there. I'm sure you can relate to any of these scenarios. We've all been there. I know it. We're, being stuck in indecision because there's just too many choices and you don't know what to do. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today, because goodness knows I've been there too. And so I'm going to go through a couple steps today. The first step, and this is maybe the most basic thing, but you have to identify exactly what it is that you want. Excuse me. For example, I want to make a painting, or I want to collaborate with a brand. I want to sell 10 pieces of art this year, or I want to exhibit 5 pieces at the quilt show. I want to get a piece published in a local publication. Anything like that. And that's the easy step. It's really easy to jump ahead and envision the future, the wonderful life we can have when we've achieved our greatest dreams. But after you've determined that first step, it can get a little harder. So you have your end goal. That's your ultimate achievement, your pie in the sky dream. But that is determining that is a different thing from figuring it out how to get there. There's no format or equation or defined set of steps that you can take that will guarantee to get you to that dream. Excuse me. It can be hard to know where to start. It can be hard to know what direction to take or what path to go on. So what do we do? Of course, all of us want to take the most direct path, go from A to B, from beginning to end. but there's so many options and possibilities, and twists and turns of life that, unfortunately, we all know that's not likely to happen. Life will throw us a curveball. We encounter detours and roadblocks. We get paused at crossroads. We get turned around and lost, find ourselves stuck in a dead end, and get redirected 1,000 times before we end up where we want, if we're lucky. And sometimes, so many times, we don't even end up there, but we find ourselves in a completely different place than we imagined. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. We of course can't foresee the future or what we're going to end up doing. But gosh, it would be nice to know exactly where we're going, what we're going to do, and to have turn-by-turn GPS directions that would lead us exactly there, right? In 2 days, take a left and you'll end up with this. You'll have a nice, perfectly finished piece, and you won't even have to do that much work. You just follow these steps, 1, 2, 3, and you'll get there. That's not the way it works. So over time, I have, I of course have dealt with this too, this paralysis, the indecision, analysis by paralysis. You have no idea. But I am learning to deal with those kinds of situations, and I've kind of started developing my own approach, I guess. And this is a work in progress. So these steps, even though I've listed them out here, they sound very thoughtful and put together and prepared and linear. But of course, that's not always the way it works. And just because I know these things rationally, you can still get kind of caught up in the steps in your own head, and finding self-doubt and questioning whether you're doing the right thing. So here's kind of what I've come up with over time. Experiment with different approaches, and just, learn by trial and error, see how things play out, see what works or what doesn't work, and be curious. I've talked about this before, but, you can kind of think out scenarios in your head, like, if I do this, this is likely to happen. And you can kind of play out those situations and see how they're likely to go. And again, that's how they're likely to go, not how they will go. So experimentation is a way to just get started, because we never really know. Like I said before, there's no one right way. So just start with something. Even if you don't know if it's going to work, just start. Just get started. And taking that one first step will kind of, it takes away the intimidation factor and the overwhelm. And I've found that even when I don't know what to do, just doing something helps get me motivated. You have to take some kind of action before you can find out what's going to happen or what the result is, and how far it's going to get you towards your goal. Once that one action or step is completed, or even like when it's in progress, then you'll have a better idea of what to do next. Don't overthink. It can be really easy to overthink and overplan, to analyze all the different possible scenarios. And I've done that too. And it's just, it's a form of procrastination. It's just, you're fooling yourself to think that you're being prepared and you're doing the research to make smart decisions, so that you know what you're going to do in the future if XYZ situation comes up. But in reality, you're still here with your blank canvas. And you haven't done anything and you haven't made any progress, because you're thinking about all the different things that might happen. So that's not good either. So you want to have a plan, but don't overthink your plan, and also be prepared for things to not go according to the plan, because that's life, right? Things never work the way you think they will. But again, that's okay. Sometimes the plan changes and goes off in a completely different direction, and it brings you to a beautiful outcome that you never would have even imagined was possible. So that's totally okay. Start small. Beginning itself, the act of beginning does not have to be an ordeal. It is not a huge event. It is not a traumatic thing that you have to psych yourself up for. It's just the first step. It's the first of many steps that you're going to take along the way to get to this goal, or end game that you are wanting to get to. Identify different milestones that you can take to hit along the way, and focus on those instead of getting distracted by lots of other shiny ideas. Like, if I if I go staying with the blank canvas theme, if I have a blank canvas, I can say, all right, I want to do something with the color purple, and I want to use this brush, and I want it to look like this, and in the end I want it to be like flowers. So right there, that kind of sets you off in a general direction, and you can kind of focus your energy into that, instead of getting distracted by other things that you have around you, like scissors. Like, oh, what if I do some collage and add some stuff onto that? No, that's not part of your original plan. And there is room for intuitive work and inspiration and a change of plans, as I said. But just because something is in front of you and available, doesn't mean you have to take that course of action. Stay focused, stay on track, and you'll do a lot better in working towards your goal than getting sidetracked by all the different kinds of possibilities that you might do. Another thing that's been kind of helpful is to find someone else who has done something similar and use their steps or their process as a starting point. Of course, we're all starting from different places, so you're not going to hit their same outcome necessarily, but you can look at what they've done and see how you can incorporate that into your own process. And we don't want to copy what other people are doing, but we can take inspiration, and that can be really helpful if you are feeling stuck about where to even begin. If you have their steps A, B, C, you can kind of use that and go from there and adapt it to exactly what it is that you are doing. Finally, don't be discouraged. there's definitely going to be setbacks, and it's important to differentiate your strategy from the quality of the work that you're doing. The two things are not the same, and sometimes if something's not working out, it's because you just need to readjust your strategy or revisit your process instead of changing your work. Just because a strategy isn't working out doesn't mean that your art or your creative products are bad. So that, that's just something to remember too, like for your own mental well-being, and give yourself grace, because if your ideas originally don't work out, that's okay. Not everything is going to go perfectly. And remember that even if your ideas or your plan doesn't work out, you're still ahead of where you were when you began, because you've learned that particular thing doesn't work. And that experience of going through that thing that didn't work might bring you new ideas and inspiration for another method to try. And also realize that your vision, your goal or your dream, that can change over time or evolve, and that's okay too. Don't feel like you have to stay committed to your original idea. If you get to a point where you find that that's just something you're not passionate and excited about anymore, there's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to set things aside and go in a different direction. The things that you make, whatever they are it's an honoring of your gifts, and it's a beautiful way to share your gifts and your spirit and your creativity with the world, whatever it is. So if that blank canvas just isn't speaking to you, you're not passionate about painting, you were kind of trying to stick with it just because you started and you wanted to finish it before you move on. Oh, Phoebe, I'm talking to you. My mom. This is kind of an ongoing conversation we've been having. She has things that are unfinished that she wants to wrap up, even if they're not something she's passionate about anymore. So Phoebe, listen up. And that brings me to my next point. Is all of this still bringing you joy? If it's bringing you joy and making you happy and adding to your life, then that's awesome. Keep doing it. But if it's not, if it's just kind of a chore or something you have to cross off your list before you continue with what you're really interested in, why are you doing it? These things are supposed to be pleasurable. They're supposed to bring us joy and supposed to bring joy to the people around us. It's not a punishment. You're not a failure if you set something aside, if you didn't finish it. It's not a reflection on you or your worth or your work ethic. It's okay to set it aside and let it go. I give you permission right now. I give you permission to set those things aside. So the reason that I've brought all this up today is that I've had some creative ideas and dreams of my own that I have had on hold for a very long time because I didn't feel like I was ready. I didn't think it was a good time. I didn't think I was qualified. And so I was just dreaming without working toward it. And that's a very frustrating place to be. But over the weekend, last weekend, I had a conversation with a friend, and she had a different thought, and that kind of changed my perspective. She helped me realize that I was waiting for people to come to me and ask for these things before I was even offering them, before I was talking about it or letting people know that I wanted to do those things. And that just wasn't fair. It wasn't fair to me. It wasn't fair to them. I was putting unfair expectations onto everyone, you know, my audience, the people that I have relationships with in person and online. And how would they know to come and ask me for something if I wasn't communicating that I was going to do it? You know, that's just not realistic. And that was a big burden to put on myself because, you know, like I said, that's just a lot of frustration and waiting for something that will never happen if you don't put it out there into the universe. I've been waiting for a need for people to tell me they wanted something before I got started. But the truth is that, have you guys ever seen the movie Field of Dreams? If you build it, they will come. I'm not going to get into the whole plot right now, but I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with it. If you build it, they will come. So I want to tell you to start before you think you're ready. There is always going to be more ways to prepare, more research to do, more things to think about. But again, you know, you can be prepared, but there's a difference between being prepared and ready to go and procrastination. If you let yourself get wrapped up in those things, in all the small little details, you're never going to have a chance to execute your big picture dreams. And there's no right or wrong answers. And I know that kind of makes it seem more difficult, but that's also a really beautiful option that opens up to us because there's so many different ways to pursue our dreams. And there's so many different unexpected and beautiful surprises that can pop up when we're least expecting it. Even if we find disappointment along the way, that change of course can still lead to things that you might not have even thought were possible. So don't let yourself get overwhelmed by all the options when you are either getting started with a new creative hobby or a new career or a specific creative project. I know it can be really hard to just put yourself out there and go for it. But that's really what you have to do. It's just one step at a time. What is the one next thing you can do? Just think. Don't think about the whole scale of and all the steps that are still ahead of you, but what is the one thing that you can do next that will move you forward toward your dreams? Be patient. Take the steps one by one. And it will take time, but breathe through the doubt and the self-doubt. Take the leap. Don't procrastinate. Don't waste your time. But be conscious of how you are limiting yourself. Are you keeping yourself in a box that feels safe? When in reality, you're just keeping yourself from achieving the things you dream about. We have to do the things that that challenge us and that scare us, because otherwise we'll never progress and we'll never grow. I really just want to encourage you again, if you want to chase after your dreams and reach them, you have to step out into the unknown and just begin. I'll throw another movie quote at you here. You may have heard me say this before, but in the movie Top Gun, the newer one, Maverick, Tom Cruise's character says, "Don't think, just do." And that has just stuck with me because I myself am an overthinker. I get stuck in the planning and the preparation and the list writing and all the steps, and then I never actually execute my ideas. So that is those are words of advice for me as much as they're words of advice for you. Don't think, just do. So that's all I've got for you guys tonight. I hope you have had a great day and have a great week. I will see you again next Tuesday, same time here on Instagram, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. And if you want to stay up to date on my Karen Keefe photo says, I say that in my calm birth classes. Don't think, just do. Yes. Yep. If you overthink it, nothing is ever going to happen. You're just going to slow yourself down. So if you guys want to subscribe and stay, be part of my mailing list and stay updated on all these Instagram lives, stuff behind the scenes, new art that I've got coming out, and just general inspiration, you can sign up for my newsletter. Go to emilyjalewski.com and you'll be prompted to subscribe. And there's a free download there too. So I hope you guys have a great week and I will see you next time. Bye.